Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 Local News for Thursday, August 29th, 2024. A Landers man was arrested for investigation into child abuse with great bodily injury after a 1-year-old child was admitted to a hospital for a suspected overdose. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department reports that on Friday, a 1-year-old child was taken to a hospital for symptoms consistent with an overdose and later transferred to a trauma center for a higher level of care. The Sheriff's Department says that they found the child had additional injuries consistent with non-accidental trauma. At the time of the hospitalization, the unidentified child was reported to be in the care of Michael Penkowski, a 33-year-old resident of Landers. After an investigation by the Sheriff's Specialized Investigation and Homicide Division, Penkowski was arrested on Monday at the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Central Station in San Bernardino, 3 days after the child was hospitalized. Penkowski was arrested on suspicion of child abuse with the possibility of great bodily injury or death and is currently being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $250,000 bail. He is being arraigned at the Joshua Tree Courthouse this morning on a felony charge of willfully permitting a child to suffer with enhancements related to the young age of the child and Penkowski's prior violent felony convictions. Don't drive drunk or stoned in the Morongo Basin. That's the message the California Highway Patrol is hammering home with a DUI checkpoint scheduled for our community sometime tomorrow. Though the specific time and location of the checkpoint has not been announced, the CHP says that they target areas where there is a, quote, high frequency of drunk driving. The CHP announced that they will be conducting a sobriety checkpoint on Friday somewhere in the unincorporated area of the Morongo Basin, staffed by CHP officers who are trained to detect impaired drivers. All vehicles passing through the checkpoint will be checked, and drivers who are under the influence of any substance beyond their capacity to drive a car will be arrested. The CHP uses DUI checkpoints to keep roads safe for all drivers and to send a clear message to those who choose to mix alcohol and drugs with driving. The CHP hopes that by publicizing information about the checkpoints, they can deter motorists from drinking and driving, keeping the roads safer. Joshua Tree has a housing problem, and the explosion of short-term rentals has removed hundreds of single-family homes from the market that were previously sold or rented to residents. While many of these vacation homes have returned to the market as furnished rentals, affordable housing remains out of reach for many locals. A developer is planning to add 64 homes to a piece of property in Joshua Tree, and tonight they are holding a community session to field questions and comments about the development. Online news editor Robert Hayden picks it up from here.
The Lovemore Ranch's website and social media say they're setting a new standard for sustainable development in the high desert of California with their planned development for the corner of Alta Loma and Sunset. Currently, the site is open desert, and the photos on the website reflect that with shots of Joshua trees and other vegetation on the lot. What the website doesn't show is what the homes will look like and how it will be situated on the land, which the Morongo Basin Conservation Society say will require a near-complete scraping of the site. Lovemore Ranch's website does have a frequently asked questions section that looks to answer a lot of questions that come out of these large development meetings. The developers say that they aim to retain 20% of the natural vegetation on the site and that they'll plant more native plants that they remove. They also say they'll exceed dark sky regulations and that their design, quote, focuses on deeply connecting residents with nature and the national park through a variety of features. Some of those features listed are things like a smell garden, a thought lounge for after-school programs, and a co-harvest program which they say will facilitate community gardening. Sewer concerns, traffic on Alta Loma, and flooding are also some questions they seem to have addressed on the website. They also have a form where you can submit your own question, and the developers are holding an info session tonight at 6 p.m. at the Joshua Tree Community Center at 6171 Sunburst Street. The meeting is open to anyone, and you can visit the Lovemore Ranch's website at www.lovemore.group, or you can see this story on our website for links. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
Green thumbs. Save the date and clear the calendar. The Mojave Desert Land Trust famous fall plant sale has been announced for Saturday, October 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Fall is the best time to plant in the high desert, and a mild fall leading into a hopefully wet winter gives the native plants plenty of time to get established before next summer. The Land Trust says this year was great for desert purple sage, turpentine broom, sticky monkey flower, and fragrant sumac. You can see their website for tips on suggested species that will help support wildlife and how to prepare your yard in advance of the big sale. Members get a 10% discount, and the sale almost always sells out. Mark the calendar for Saturday, October 26th. For more information, you can visit the Mojave Desert Land Trust website at mdlt.org. And finally, the Morongo Basin has experienced a huge upswell in our local music scene. Musicians, venues, studios, and support services are all working hard. This Friday, Pat Kearns, the host of the Z107.7 Local Music Showcase, will talk about local music and play selected tracks from both veterans and newcomers. Join host Gary Digneau and enjoy our local talent on the Z107.7 Up Close show tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. here on Z107.7. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm Jeff Harmetz.